Assembling your E-motor mount for the BT60 tube size. You'll have one E-motor tube, one E-motor hook, a forward thrust ring, a centering ring with no slots, and a centering ring with a small slot. Because the shock cord attaches to the motor mount, you'll have a Kevlar shock cord and elastic shock cord. Take both ends of your shock cord and tie them together with one overhand loop. And pull tight. Then on one end of the Kevlar shock cord, tie a single loop. Take your motor tube, your E-motor hook, insert in the pre-cut slot in your motor tube. While holding it, take your centering ring with a small slot and pass your shock cord, the Kevlar end through with a knot through the slot, and place it over on the forward end of the tube. Slide it over and slide it a little bit past the marks around the outside of the tube where the centering ring will be finally glued. Take your centering ring without the slot and put it on the aft end or the hook end of the motor tube and slide it on the tube part way, but not all the way to the marks where it will be finally located. Take some glue and put a bead of glue around the motor tube between the centering ring and the marks on the tube, and then slide your centering ring until it's on the marks on the tube. Then take a bead of glue and put on the opposite end of the centering ring a bead or a fillet, so that you have a fillet on both sides. Notice that the knot is located in line with the end of the motor hook. On the opposite side, or the aft end, now also put a bead of glue around the tube between the marks on the tube and the centering ring, and slide your centering ring until it's on the marks on the tube, and also put a bead of glue around the tube at the point where the centering ring contacts on the other side as well. So both sides of the centering ring have a fillet of glue on both centering rings, and your motor hook should be in straight alignment with the tube. Then take on the forward end of your motor tube, put a little bit of glue, small bead, around the inside of the tube, and take your forward thrust ring, insert it, and push it until it's flush. It will also be against the inside of the motor hook that protrudes through the tube. You can put it on the table surface and push down to make sure it's flush. Set this aside to dry. We're now going to apply the decals to the booster tubes. notice that the booster tubes have 2 notches, which are going to be used for balsa alignment pins, and it has 2 grooves, and these are used to line up the decal. Peel your first decal off. Be careful not to fold the decal on itself or to put a crease in it. Take your tube and keep this away from any table surface and apply the edge of the decal to the tube. You can reposition it if necessary. Align it with the mark on both sides of the tube. Keep the distance of the overlap equal on both sides of the tube. Then smooth on the decal onto the tube. Push all the air out. Use a firm, smooth pressure all the way around the tube. Until the tube is complete. Take a sharp knife and trim the excess decal material from the edge of the tube. Do this for all 6 tubes, B1 through B6. Each of the booster tubes is secured to the main body tube using alignment pins. But for now, we need to glue the launch lug to the main alignment pin that goes in tube B1. So take your balsa alignment pin, and on the back side, opposite the notched side, apply a bead of glue about 2 inches long in the center, and then attach your launch lug and line up your launch lug in a line with the alignment pin and set aside to dry. Take the booster tubes that you applied the decals to earlier and all your balsa pin lining pins and the main lining pin with the launch lug, and we're going to glue these in the inside of the tubes. Take tube B1 and we're going to glue the launch lug inside B1. Take your balsa alignment pin and put a bead of glue on the inside edge of the slot where it will contact the tube. Insert it into tube B1 and line it up until the pins line up with the slots and you're able to push them through so that the glue makes contact on the inside of the tube. Set this aside to dry. On all the other tubes, B2 through B6, take 2 of the small alignment pins and attach them on either side of the tube, inside, like so. And take the second pin. If you can't reach inside the tube to put these in, use a pair of tweezers. Take away the excess glue from the outside of the tube and set aside to dry. Do this for all the remaining tubes. We're going to apply the United States decal to both sides of the main body tube. You'll notice that the tube is grooved where the decals go. Take one of your decals off and attach it to the body tube over the top of the marks on the body tube so that the marks are underneath the decal, so you do not see the marks on the body tube when the decal is completely applied. If necessary, you can pull the decal off and reattach as long as you've not smoothed it completely down. When you have it lined up over the marks, smooth it down until it covers over the marks on the tube. Take your second decal and do the same on the opposite side of the tube. Again, line it up so that the marks are on the underside of the decal and do not show when the decal is smoothed down. Locate the two holes that are in line with the United States decal, and then go over 1 and 2. This will be the location that we line up our motor hook when inserting our motor mount. That's 2 locations over. So take glue and apply along the inside of the tube a bead all around the inside, just past the fin slots, like so. And then insert your motor mount, 1, 2, but part way. We don't want to contact glue yet because we're going to put glue also down in the lower part of the tube around the perimeter. Like so, all around the tube. Then push in your motor mount, lining up the motor hook with the 2 slots, 2 over from the logo, or rather the decal, and push in until the bottom of the motor tube is flush with the body tube, and set aside to dry. We're going to decorate the fins before gluing them into the body tube. And you'll notice that the fins have a black side and a white side.